The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Well, hello. It's Friday, the 24th day of January, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman, and Simone Vaughn will be with us in a bit to bring the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of another traditional work week. January is just floating along. I saw someone post this week saying this is the longest January in the history of Januaries. And I'm like, I don't know. It seems like it's floating along regularly, rather quickly or smoothly. I didn't notice the time being so slow, but I'm happy, man. We've made it another Friday. I think this is the third Friday of the month, or I could be wrong. What Friday? Whatever. Who's counting? I was told last night my math's a bit off anyway. But yeah, we made it to the end of another traditional work week. Hope everyone is still feeling good. If you have New Year's goals, hopefully you're still in a good space where you are achieving them and exceeding them. David Michael Wilson says, fantastic Friday all, and indeed a fantastic Friday to you. Fourth Friday. Thank you, David. Thank you. It is the fourth Friday today. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Friday, Jamal and Simone. The weekend is here. January has gone by very quickly. Yeah, I didn't think it was slow. Yeah, I got quite a few people saying, oh, this month has, gone by so slow, but who's in a rush? Good morning to you, Mark Artsy Phillips. He says, good morning, TDH fam. All right, folks, it is Friday. So greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. It is Friday Fun Day. And we're going to be discussing, Friday Fun Day and politics doesn't seem like it goes together, but we're going to do it. We're going to be discussing who do you believe are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present. Bermuda's most loved. And you know what's crazy? I'm not going to call the person out, but me and one of the TDH team, we laughed yesterday with this topic because we're like, dang, we couldn't think of anyone. And then we both thought of the exact same person. But that's the question this morning. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, so let's jump right into it, folks. Let's jump right into it. Who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? Someone you just, the community loves. It could be someone in your constituency, like someone that was loved or that you appreciated, a politician. I mean, there's got to be at least one. It's got to be at least one. Everyone has to have at least one politician that they really like, right? But while you're thinking about that, do you feel that politics has turned good people bad? Do you think that politics has turned like people who you believe like that's a good person, and then they become a politician and all of a sudden things change? Like, who is this person anymore? Oh, they're more about party than they are people, or they care more about towing the party line than doing the right thing. Do you feel that politics has turned good people bad? Yes or no? That's just a yes or no question. Yes or no? Do you feel that I'll give you an example. I think Michael Weeks is one of the nicest people. I really do think he's genuinely nice. And I don't think politics turned a good person bad in terms of Michael Weeks. And that's my MP. That's why I'm using him as an example. But I think he was a cult, like, a rookie in politics and didn't understand no matter how nice you are, you can't just make promises to your constituents and it gets done. It doesn't work like that. So I wouldn't say it turned him bad, but it didn't allow him to take who he is and deliver it politically because of the team he was a part of. So, but yeah, do you feel that politics has turned good people bad? Yes or no? And this is Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. If you ship to Bermuda, know someone who does, or think you may ship to Bermuda, just go to mailboxes.bm/the Daily Hour to sign up for 2 years of free membership. Again, the question of the morning this Friday Fun Day is, who do you think are some of Bermuda's most beloved politicians, past and present? And also, do you feel that politics has turned good people bad? Brenda Simon says, yes, politics has done that. Okay. Nicole Walker says, good morning, all. Yes, she believes politics has turned some good people bad. Okay. What else, audience? And again, who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? I'll give you one example. I saw a tweet the other day, and I want to read it because Twitter's public, so I can take from people's tweets, right? Let's go. I'm going to go to see if I can find this tweet. Give me a second, audience. But someone tweeted, and man, people tweet so much, I probably can't find the tweet. Let's go. Give me a second, but it was a really good. Oh, here it is. Someone said, I love my MP. I just don't like that party at the moment. I have no clue who the OBA person is, nor do I care at this point. And no independent or FDM person has been announced. Sigh. This election about to be interesting AF. You know what AF means. I'm going to speculate who that politician is. Right? I'm going to speculate that it's a person that is probably one of the most beloved politicians in Bermuda right now because they are very engaged in their community. They are part of their community and they reflect their community. So I'm going to say it's Renee Ming. I think she actually is one of Bermuda's most loved politicians. Do you agree? So that's one. But past and present, who do you believe are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians? David Michael Wilson, he says, Dwayne Robinson comes across as someone well-rounded for his constituency. He listens, he learns, he adapts, and his morals have thus far have not been compromised as far as I have seen. Okay, there you go. Shamari Sky says, no, politics is like water poured into a bucket. The water exposes any cracks or holes in the individual's character. So basically what Shamari Sky is saying is he doesn't believe politics has turned good people bad. He believes these people, basically, it's just who they are being exposed in certain situations. Fair enough. Question of the morning again. It's Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? Hadeline Swan says Dale Butler. Yeah, I think an argument can be made, right, that he's one of the most popular. Michael Weeks. Yeah, an argument, and he was my MP. Honestly, I mean, folks, it's hard. I've been critical of Mr. Weeks in the past, but it's hard because he is a genuinely nice guy, right? But being genuine and nice doesn't really work in politics, unfortunately. John Swan, Sir John. I mean, yeah. A lot of people may have issues with how Sir John governed as the UVP leader and Premier of Bermuda at times, but at the end of the day, no one probably has had the impact or effect on people like him as a Premier during my lifetime. Hadley and Swan says Glenn Blakeney and David. Who? Okay, it's her. Glenn Blakeney and David Burt. I've got such deep love. My love for Glenn Blakeney is a bit biased. That's the father of broadcast media to me in Bermuda. So I don't even see him politics. But David Burt, one of the most loved politicians. Interesting. I don't think if a poll went out on David Burt today or 10 years from now, he would probably be, if there were 100 politicians, I'm pretty sure he'll be in the 1 percentile, meaning he'd be that 1%, the most unpopular. I just don't see. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm actually questioning and trying to understand what has he achieved to be likable, per se. You can make an argument for Dale Butler. I mean, he's Mr. Culture. You can make an argument for Michael Weeks. He's a nice guy. You can make an argument for Sir John, the economic premier. You can make an argument for Glenn Blakeney, who still to this day is the only Black person who owns a major media company in Bermuda, really. And then David Burt, I just don't see it. So help me understand that one. Suzanne Ingham says, Sir John, yes, politics has become rotten, low down, and dirty now. This is my opinion. It's just, no, I get why people would say Sir John. It makes sense. I mean, again, economically, a lot of the country benefited from his leadership. There may be challenges on the social side, but yeah, I think Sir John, I can understand that. Nicole Walker says, that tweet sums up my feelings 100%. Yes, love and respect my current MP, Renee Ming, and former Premier Paula Cox. Okay. Paula Cox, okay. Renee Simmons says, my uncle Ottawil Simmons, Nelson Bascom, and Michael Weeks. You know what? I don't know how to say this respectfully about these three gentlemen, two who have passed on, but these were some dogs, man. These were some dogs. Like, these were some of the most relatable men. Nelson Bascom being my MP, Mike Weeks being my MP, and the Honorable Simmons, Ottawil Simmons in the constituency next to mine. These were the kind of men who I felt represented my interest. They sounded like me. They looked like me. They fought like me. I don't see that in a David Burt, unfortunately. He doesn't sound like me. Doesn't look like me. He don't have the swag that these gentlemen had. I don't have swag, so I ain't throwing myself in there. But I can see why they're loved. Who else, audience? Who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? I'm going to give one. You may all disagree with this, but Michael Dunkley. I think Michael Dunkley is one of the most loved. I mean, Michael Dunkley can put the picture of a flower on Instagram and he'll get like people just engaging with him. Michael Dunkley is more loved than I think we'd give him credit for. He is definitely one of the most loved politicians in Bermuda, past and present. I definitely agree with that. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, Nelson Bascom came across as a genuine, authentic MP and came across as a person who truly cared. He was a dog, man. He was like, Nelson Bascom was what, you know how people say this is not your parents or grandparents PLP? He represented your parents and grandparents and PLP. You know, him and the late Ottawil Simmons, that's what they did. Nicole Walker says, yes, how could I forget Nelson Bascom? Indeed. Who else? Angeline Butler says, I actually like Dr. Ewart Brown. I know others beg to differ. I think he is actually one of Bermuda's most loved. I do. Look, I think Dr. Brown, his personality definitely, it splits, right? Like people have split on him. Like you either really liked him or really disliked him. There was no in between with Dr. Brown. But I think with Dr. Brown, after he left, he probably sits at home saying, I told you so. He did try to push the GPS for cabs long before it was finally passed. He was trying to push casino gaming. To this day, we still haven't done anything with that, even though after he went, the late Sean Crockle and the OBA tried to push it. A lot of stuff, Dr. Brown, if we're honest, if we're very honest, and we took an objective view, a lot of stuff that he actually tried to do, we're now far behind the 8 ball. Now, again, I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm just saying facts are facts. Who do you think are some of Bermuda's most beloved politicians? Most loved politicians, past and present. I'm going to throw one out there. The Honorable Dr. Nalitha Butterfield. How about that? Maybe I'm biased because of the impact that she has had on the lives of so many people through her computer school and her care education center. She is loved in her community. Let's go over to Instagram. We've got Quilletta 3 says Lois Brown Evans. Yeah, the impact she had. Mia Chambray says Ann Cartwright DeCudo. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ann Cartwright DeCudo was one of the environment ministers, and she's the one that passed the law or pushed for the law as minister about parrotfish, protecting our environment, not being able to catch parrotfish. I don't think people understand how important. Another law, correct me if I'm wrong, audience, that she passed, and young people won't know this, but I believe she was the minister when they passed the law where you can no longer burn trash in Bermuda. Yeah, remember, people used to burn trash in their yards. The Clean Act law, a Clean Air law, I think it was. I'm not. That might be it, but again, I could be wrong. But that's where I remember her. Mia Chambray is naming everybody from the UVP. I don't know if they're that loved. She says Pamela Gordon. Dame Pamela is very much loved. She is loved. Scody 441 says Honorable Lewis Brown Evans and Bro Otterwell Simmons, R.I.P. Yep. We've got Wayne Furbert. Look, I know Wayne Furbert. You know, you all like cracking on the Honorable Minister. He does his singing and the like. But I tell you, if nothing else proves that he's loved, this, as of today, he's the only person in my lifetime who has won a political seat in both major political parties of the day. The same seat. Whether we like him or not, his constituents definitely do. So I would actually go for that. We got who else? Let's come back to YouTube and Facebook. We've got how about Terry Lister? I ain't never heard nobody say they like him. But hey, fair enough. If people like him, I'm gonna say the Honorable Mark Bean. The way that people react to Mark Bean when he speaks, it's like if Mark Bean showed up to a press conference, there's an audience. The way that people, I have never seen people rush to want to hear what someone says the way they rush to want to hear what Mark Bean's about to say when it comes to politics in Bermuda. For a man who hasn't been elected or been in an official capacity, you all love the Honorable Mark Bean. You do. You probably won't admit it, but you do. I'm going to say it. Who else, audience? Who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? Shakira Richardson says, I was just going to say Nalitha Butterfield. For sure, I agree. Angeline Butler says, I like Colonel Birch despite the conditions of our roads. Colonel Birch comes across like he doesn't want to be liked or loved by anybody. He just a miserable old man, right? But the fact is, whether we like him or not, he actually, at least he portrays to be a person of integrity. I don't know him, but he portrays himself to be a person of integrity. And if that's who he is, I can see why people like him. He's very straightforward. Monica Casey says Dame Jennifer. Look, Dame Jennifer was very popular when she was premier. She was very popular leading up to that election in 98. Suzanne Ingham says, yes, Nelson Bascom, Mr. Dunkley, Larry Mossenden. Who's Mr. Robinson? Is it Deloy Robinson? Who's that? Sir Edwards? Who's Sir Edwards? Yes, same Pamela Gordon. I don't know Mr. Robinson and Sir Edwards. We've got our cousin Jamel. Who's our cousin? I have cousins that are politicians. Oh, cousin Derek. Sorry. Yeah, cousin Derek. We've got cousin Derek. Yeah, I would say cousin Derek's pretty popular down in the Bayless Bay area too. Nicole Walker says Freddie Wade. Yeah, Al Frederick Wade was very popular. A lot of people actually credit him, although he had passed on, with the PLP being victorious in 1998, right? But cousin Derek's definitely in there. Shakara Richardson says Mark Bean. Yeah, I definitely agree. Mark Bean. Shakara Richardson says Stanley Morton. And then we have Angeline Butler saying, yes, of course, Mark Bean. Respect for them. And yes, Mark Bean, he is very solid, says Suzanne Ingham. Who else? We've got, I know another one. She seems very popular. The Honorable Dr. Renee Webb. She seems very loved by people, very accepted by people, very understood by people. Who else? Who else you got? Who else would you say is a very someone who's loved? Like when you speak of them, a majority of Bermudians say, man, he was solid, he was good, she was great, she's the best, one of the best we've had. Like people who go down in history as change makers, like people who you're like, man, without their impact, we would not have been here. We would not have achieved this. Who are some politicians that come to mind? Who are you thinking? Who, like someone that's loved. Someone that like, who's the Susie Aruda of old? And I'm saying Susie Aruda because, again, her own word, she's a pit bull. Who are the pit bulls that you're like, wow? Headley and Swan says, Bruce said Stanley Lowe, yeah, the former speaker. Yeah, I believe he was the first speaker of the PLP government. How about Eugene Cox? It's been said he was one of the best finance ministers we've had on the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, Eugene Cox, the father of Paula Cox. We've got Renee Simmons says, yes, Dr. Brown for sure. If it wasn't for him, seniors still be paying to ride the bus, and students, yes, Mark Bean, genuine son of the soil, great intellect. Austin Thomas, my old Sunday school teacher. Austin Thomas, was he at Evening Light? I think Austin Thomas was Evening Light. That's where I think I remember. I know you all think I'm a heathen, but I did go to Sunday school on Evening Light for quite a time, so don't judge me. I see you all, how you're looking at me right now. I can feel how you're looking at me when I see you. Yes, Renee. Yes. I think he was my Sunday school teacher as well. Austin Thomas. See, man, yeah, I forgot. See, you all, we got to bring it back because I would not have thought of Mr. Thomas. I would not have thought of Mr. Thomas. So think about it, past and present. Like, who are some people who were heavy politically? Heavy. That they're very loved. Like today, we're still talking about how great of people they are, how much they did for Bermuda. Like some people that come to mind, like you're like, man, they come out in public and people are like, hey, how you doing? And this is another good one. Aaron Scott says Walter Lister. Absolutely. 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 How about David Allen? I think he was the first tourism minister under the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party. How about Dr. David Saul? Dr. David Saul, I don't know if people remember how loved he was. Dr. David Saul, I think he was the premier before Dame Pamela Gordon, and he used to ride a moped or a bike, if I'm not mistaken. Like he was one of those regular people. He wanted to be amongst the people, the general population. Who else, audience? It's Friday Fun Day, by the way, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. If you don't have Mailboxes already membership, you can go to mailboxes.bm/the Daily Hour to sign up for 2 free years of membership. But it is Friday Fun Day. We're having fun. We're actually having fun with politics. And the question of the morning for this Friday Fun Day, who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? We've had some great ones this morning. Dr. the Honorable Ewart Brown. We've had Ann Cartwright Takuda. We've had Sir John Swan. We've had the Honorable Dr. Nalitha Butterfield. I don't know if I said Dale Butler just now. We've had the late Nelson Baskin. We've had Otta Will Simmons, the late Otta Will Simmons. We've had cousin Derek Burgess. We've had Michael Dunkley. We've had quite a few. Who else? You know who else was very popular and we've spoken about a lot on this show recently? Stuart Haywood. He was very popular at one point. Very popular because he stood up. Even if he was a man on an island by himself, he stood up for the environment. Now, there were people who really disliked him because they felt he was the red tape in the way of progress. But he played a very instrumental role in the environment. Suzanne Ingham says Omar Dill. Omar is the current chairman of the FDM. He gets a lot of love. I tell you what, he surely does. He surely does. I think, you know who I think is likable? No one said Curtis Dickinson. You all don't find Curtis Dickinson likable or lovable? You don't think he's the most loved? The way you all wanted him to be premier, I would have thought you would have said Curtis Dickinson. No one has said Curtis Dickinson? How do you want someone to be your premier so bad, but you don't find him to be one of Bermuda's most loved? You confuse me. You all confuse me. Angeline Butler says, constituency 29, love Zane De Silva. Okay. I think that's well, yeah. We've got about 4 or 5 votes in my family in Zane's constituency. I don't know if the Christmas turkey is going to be enough, bro. Anyway, it's not about me. I can't vote. They removed me. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying that. Kenton Trott says, Dwayne Robertson, he started in his 20s and has maintained his professionalism and integrity for over 10 years. He's a genuine Bermudian husband, father, and friend. Okay. It's interesting. Dwayne seems to have made some inroads, and he's up against Misha Fobler in the election. And while I think Misha's a good guy, I do. I think they're both good guys. I'm upset that they're running against each other because if I had to choose one constituency where both candidates probably would be beneficial in the House of Assembly, I would say it's those two. I really would. I think they would both add value. But I see the point why a couple of you have said this morning, Dwayne Robinson is one of Bermuda's most loved. Even when he and I disagree, he just, going back to what I said, looks like me, he sounds like me, he reflects me. I think that's what people want. I remember someone said to me, yo, man, my cousin asked if Bermuda's premier is from Connecticut. Like, who, David Brett? Yeah, he don't sound and look like you guys. Like, man, what's that supposed to mean? Michael Dunkley didn't look like me. I mean, I'm just saying, but whatever. Pamela Wade says, CV Jim Woolrich, the voice of summer. How could we forget? How could we forget? We've got, yes, Mr. Dickinson, says Suzanne Ingham. Yeah, yes, Curtis is the man, says Mark Arthur C. Phillips. Yes, for sure, Curtis Dickinson. Julian Hall as well, says Renee Simmons. Yeah, maybe you all just felt Curtis Dickinson's a shoe-in. Like, of course, why would we have to say his name? Canton Trot says, yes, I agree with you, Jamal, about Dwayne and Misha. Yeah, man, I think they are both good. I do. I know who, I'm going to say this. And again, I've never met him in person, but I think I know who people are starting to favor in Bermuda. I think, whether we like it or not, I think young people are starting to favor John Seymour. He's meeting them where they are with his videos. He's running a campaign that many would be like, I want to follow this. I want to do this. He's gaining some traction. He is. Shanae Smith says, just a farmer, Malachi Simons. Yeah, he's likable, man. Malachi Simons is extremely likable. I think what he stands for, people love as well, right? I second that, Shanae Smith. Diane Elliott says, R.I.P. The late Jim Woolridge and the late David Allen. Yeah, I said David Allen earlier. Who else? Like, who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? Who do you think? Let's go. Is there anyone on Instagram? We've got Stuart Haywood. Yes, says Mia Chambray. She says Craig Kennenair. Craig Kennenair. I like Mr. Kennedy. I don't know if he's loved though. I don't know, and I feel for Mr. Kennedy because again, as I've said on this show before, I wouldn't have resigned, but he's a nice guy. We've seen people do much worse and remain ministers. So yeah, I wouldn't resign. But I don't think Craig Cannoneer, I would put him in a category of most loved politicians. I think when you think about most loved politicians, it's someone who people adore and respect, like a John Swan or a Curtis Dickinson, David Saul, Dame Pamela. If Dame Pamela Gordon showed up, and people knew that was her, I think a crowd would ensure. That's what I think loved represents. When I think of love, Julian Hall, known as one of the smartest brains we've had among us, right? Renee Ming was the first. Charles H. Jefferson II is asking, did someone say Renee Ming? She was the first name we said, I believe. She was the first name this morning. And again, because she's embedded in her community, she speaks out. Her and Curtis Dickinson are known as two people who went against the grain. I think many people, like that tweet I read earlier, where I believe it was about Renee Ming, a lot of people actually would vote PLP simply because of Renee and Curtis, if not for the leader. Plenty of people said Dame Lewis Brown Evans, Shamari Talbot. Plenty of people. If you're just tuning in, plenty of people said Dame Lewis Brown Evans. Kenny Bascom says Manuel John. Well, he definitely had a popularity in St. George. He definitely did. He was loved by a lot of people I know. He was a serious person. I think he's probably split down the middle. But again, it's like Dr. the Honorable Ewart Brown. Those who loved him, man. And those who didn't. There was no in between. There were no in between. So we've got some good ones this morning. Who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? I don't think there's an argument about Dame Pamela Gordon. I don't think there's an argument about Dale Butler. I don't think there's an argument about Nalitha Butterfield. I don't think there's an argument about Ottawil Simmons. I don't think there's an argument about Sir John Swan. I don't think there's an argument about Dr. Brown. I don't think there's an argument about Eugene Cox, Renee Ming, Curtis Dickinson, Dwayne Robinson. Some people on the fence. I don't think there's an argument about Dame Lewis Brown Evans. I don't think there's an argument about Jennifer Smith. I think when she led the PLP to victory, there were a lot of happy people. This is a good one. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I didn't know Walton Brown, but I think he was well respected and loved. Walton Brown was one of the few PLP MPs at the time who was loved by the other side. He was loved by the other side as well. He had a conscience. I think Walton Brown was more activist than politician, and that's what we're missing today. If you understood him and knew him, he was more activist than he was politician. Kenton Shaw says Curtis Dickinson, Renee Ming are two I definitely agree with that were mentioned. Shawnette Bell says Alex Scott. How could we forget the former premier? Two things. He did what was the paper on independence? He pushed that, which we all thought that's what every PLP premier would do. And he also was the one that pushed for the Patty Act. Two important things. And again, when we're talking about who do you think are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present, think about the impact they've made. What's the impact that they made? This is a very good point that I don't think this is a real person, James Jones, but anybody with fake pictures, but I'm going to call it what it is. Says you have to remember that you get loved when you finish politics. John Swan among the Black community was one of the most hated premier during his time. It was split. And I'm going to say it wasn't among the Black community it was the most hated, because without the Black community, he wouldn't have been the premier that long. There were people in the Black community who literally hated the UBP. And yes, Sir John, but I would not say that among the black community, who was most hated. Among some of the black community, he was very much disliked and hated, and still today. Does he get more? Do people get more love after they leave politics? Absolutely. I think that's the way you judge politicians a lot, is the impact they left behind. But I tell you what, when you look at how people were living back then, and living economically speaking only, not socially, economically. I've heard many people say economically they take a Sir John's economy over a David Byrd economy. That's not me talking. That's just how people feel. And these are people that are blacker than black. So feel how you feel. That's how others feel. We've also got, Malachi, someone says on Instagram. What else? Come on, audience. It's Friday Fun Day. Give us some more. Who are some of Bermuda's most loved politicians, past and present? Who you got? You know what? I said Michael Weeks and Nelson Bascom because those are the only two people I voted for. Right? I voted for them. All of us hopefully have voted at some point in Bermuda. I think, if I'm unbiased, I think that David Byrd, as the youngest premier Bermuda's ever had the opportunity to go down as the greatest premier we've had. But I'm going to agree with what James Jones said just now. We won't really know the impact of David Byrd as premier until long after he's gone. And that's just how it's judged. At the time, a lot of people would have said Dr. Ewart Brown was the worst thing that happened to Bermuda. Since, again, a lot of the stuff he tried to push, now we're looking back. Yeah, we should have been done that. We should have did this. Well, Dr. Brown pushed it. Dr. Brown pushed it. And again, he's probably sitting pretty in his house like, I told him so. So, it is tough on David Byrd right now. But again, you had premiers during their time who did things that defined their leadership and how you felt about them at the time. Stanley Morton says B. Denise Hollis, and Susan Jackson says Aaron Scott. I loved Susan Jackson's mother, Louise Jackson. We talk about pit bulls. She was one. She stood the test of time. She fought for what she believed was right. I absolutely loved her. She was one of the few in the United Bermuda Party that I liked during our conscription battle because she understood our fight. I liked her. I very much liked her. All right, we're going to take a quick break, audience. Then we're going to bring Simone Vaughn in for the Daily Hour News break. But keep them coming. It's interesting to see who you all love, who you like. I noticed that you didn't say a lot of current politicians. You didn't say a lot of current ones. You said Dwayne Robinson. You said Curtis Dickinson, Renee Ming. Nobody said Jerrion Richardson, the leader of the One Bermuda Alliance. Interesting. You said Mark Bean, yeah. I said Renee Ming. None of you did. You said Sir John. Interesting though. If you're running in the upcoming election, I tell you what, people need to feel the love. Take it from the Daily Hour crew. Folks, if you've just tuned in, do us a favor when we go to this break. Whatever platform you're on, be it LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, give us a like, love, follow, share, subscribe. Whatever you do, make sure you're giving us some sort of love. Make sure that we're encouraging people to get involved and share in these community conversations that we're having on a regular basis. Stick with us. We'll be back after this.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic, and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talk, and DeWalt. The list goes on.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Bermuda Trivia, the Black History Edition, is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com or email contact@bermudatrivia.com to learn more.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, without further ado, let's bring in Simone Vaughn for the Daily Hour news break.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad it's Friday, getting ready for the weekend and preparing for the next week.
Yeah, weekends are good. I'm a Monday lover, so
Oh, really? Oh.
You don't love Monday?
I'm not a big Monday person.
You're like Sherry. See, Sherry's favorite day of the week is Friday because then she don't have to see me again until Monday. You're one of those?
Oh, pardon?
You're one of those?
No, not to that extent, but
not to that extent. All right, we're gonna have to keep Simone away from the older people. Starting the show. So I know this is your first election you're voting in, but are you familiar with any of the older politicians in Bermuda? Like, and when I say older, before your time, like a Dame Lois Brown Evans or Audible Simmons or Dr. Brown or Dr. Searle or Dame Pamela. Do you know any of them?
I recognize maybe one or two names.
Okay.
Dame Pamela being one. It's been a bit of a trivia quest.
Okay.
To learn more information. So
okay,
yeah.
fair enough. And folks, she'll probably do a documentary on it. Don't worry. She'll probably come back. All right, this is what I learned, and you've got an hour worth of information to educate you all. So anyway, what you got in the news for us today?
Yes. So without further ado, let's get into it. As Election Day nears, there are things that voters can do to prepare for the big day. Knowing the destination of your polling station is one of them. Here are some of the appointed polling stations with pictures for reference.
This footage is courtesy of elections.gov BM. St. David's has their station at Open Door Christian Assembly Fellowship Church Hall. For Hamilton West, the polling station will be the Midland Heights Seventh-day Adventist Church. Smith South is housing theirs at Whitney Institute Middle School. The polling station for Sandy South Central will be West Ann Primary School. Remember to bring some form of identification to the polling station in your area. Examples of approved forms of ID are a valid and signed Bermuda driver's license and a valid voter's registration card. For more information on the polling stations and ID requirements, visit elections.gov BM.
You know what? I never heard of them having, like, in the US, they complain about illegal voting, like people voting illegally, and you just sharing that. I never knew what you needed. I just had my license or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if they actually check for things in Bermuda, like people voting illegally, like, and what the penalties are for that. I know there's got to be penalties, but I wonder how they.
Yeah, that would be an interesting process, and maybe that could be a new story I can look up.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, folks, you know what you need to vote. All right, they just showed you. But then again, does the passport have to be Bermudian?
I believe it does. But
Okay.
anyways, you can always go to elections.gov.bm and make sure that you get the right information for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes. So next one, as we are in the middle of cold and flu season, which won't end till around April, I know I don't like being sick, so I try my best to take preventative measures. And if you don't want to hear it from me, the Ministry of Health will also tell you the same thing. And they are advising everyone to take proper precautions during this time.
This footage is courtesy of TNN. Fever and respiratory illnesses are on the rise. The Ministry of Health has seen a particular uptick in influenza cases. The Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit are closely keeping track of this and will update the public with further developments. In the meantime, Kim Wilson, Minister of Health, urges people to stay alert and adopt proper precautions.
Well, you know what? I don't know if people know what I'm got in my cup every morning this time of year, but I have IV in here. Your boy ain't messing around anymore, right? This is my IV drink that I add the IV into the water, and got to keep me, going, because I can't take no chances. And it's freezing, and people have germs this time of year, so take those precautions, folks. And if you're sick, stay home.
I second that. So, some unfortunate news. Taste of Love at Woody's is closing down. They have been awarded Bermuda's best fish sandwich, I believe, for a couple of years now. I know I'm going to try to get my fish sandwich before February 8th when they close. So, let's get into that. Here is their statement.
To our valued customers, we regret to inform you that the Taste the Love at Woody's will be closing. Our final day of operation will be Friday, February 8th, 2025. This decision was not made lightly, but due to circumstances beyond our control, it has become necessary for us to move on. As a dedicated Bermudian team, our mission has always been to share our delicious Bermudian cuisine with locals and visitors to our beautiful island. We are incredibly grateful to have been honored with the Best Fish Sandwich of the Year award for several consecutive years. Your support has continually motivated us to strive for excellence. We extend our heartfelt thanks for the countless memories, laughter, and unwavering support you have given us. You have been more than just customers. You have become friends and family. As part of such a close-knit community, we believe our paths will cross again. With deepest gratitude, Wayne, Annalise, and the staff of Taste the Love at Woody's.
All right, so I got to ask this audience. I was today years old when I learned that the restaurant had a name, Taste the Love. I just thought it was Woody's. I did not know that they had a name. Did anybody else know that it was called Taste the Love? But that said, it's going to be a miss. I wish I could get a sandwich or something before they close, but unfortunately, I'm not going to. But it is one of the best fish sandwiches I have ever tasted in my life, and hopefully, they got a new venue and people are able to support them elsewhere.
Yes, for sure. I'll see if I can, send someone a plane down maybe for you.
Hook a brother up. It's a direct flight.
All right. So, of course, since it's Friday Fun Day, I have to end off with some feel-good news. And if you're a foodie like me, this will definitely interest you.
Photos courtesy of GoToBermuda.com. Lovers of food and music are in for a treat during Bermuda's Restaurant Weeks. This year's experience includes dinner and a show featuring performances from some of Bermuda's very own musicians. Tonight, renowned steel pan soloist Robert Simmons will be performing at Cafe Amici. The restaurant is located in the Clock Tower Shopping Mall in Dockyard. They offer an array of sushi options and more for seafood lovers. Next week, Tuesday, Riva, Desmond Smith, who has been on the music scene here in Bermuda for over 25 years, will perform at the Swizzle Inn Pub and Restaurant. He will also be performing at a couple other locations during restaurant weeks, which will continue into mid-February.
I like that twist. They've got entertainment. Props to them for doing things a bit differently. They have restaurant weeks in so many different cities and spaces and towns throughout the world now. It's really about driving people through the doors when places don't have as much traffic. So hopefully it's a success. I mean, restaurants in Bermuda have struggled for quite a while, so hopefully it's a success.
Yes, and who doesn't love dinner and a show? I like a dinner and a show.
Yeah. How's the weather looking?
So for the weather today, we're looking at cloudy skies, a few sun breaks, but expect windy conditions throughout the day. The temperature will range from a high of 68 to a low of 63 degrees. The how it feels range temperature will be about 59 to 63 degrees. The slight winds always makes it feel a little bit more chilly. So that's what we have for today.
Y'all gonna be freezing. Well, you know what? I did ask, did anyone know that it was called Taste of Love? Charles was with me saying, didn't know it was called Taste of Love. And then Renee Simmons said, me too. Hedley and Swan said, just learned today too, as I thought the restaurant was named Woody's, right? And Aaron Scott said, I was under the impression it's a slogan, Taste the Love, but still was named Woody's, both restaurant and bar. I don't know. I'm just saying. You know what? That's interesting. People thought it was just a slogan. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying people need to know your name because truthfully, if you opened up somewhere else, you can't take the name Woody's because Woody's the name of the bar. So people need to know that it's attached to you. So congratulations to them. All the best to them. And yes, I did hear Nicole Walker said, sad news indeed. I'll be going for my fish sandwich and shark hash. Owners of Country Kitchen are taking over at Woody's. So all is not lost. And man, they have that melting in your mouth fish, man. They do a thing. Real quickly, days of the year. Days of the year. It's two things I'm going to focus on. It's National Compliment Day. National Compliment Day. So what I want to encourage everyone to do right now in the audience, share a compliment about someone you love in the comments. Share a compliment. It could be anybody, a family member, a colleague, a friend, politician. Share a compliment. Give a compliment to someone you love, Simone. Who would it be?
A compliment. I like how encouraging my sister is in my career.
Sorry, got a little emotional. See, that's a compliment. Complimenting her sister for being so encouraging. Okay, for me, I'm gonna say my family, man. I love the way they support what I do. I do. I love the way that they've supported my transition to entrepreneurship. And I'm talking about all my family that is there to support, allow me to set up and do this show when I travel and so on. So that's my, but also another compliment for National Compliment Day. Audience, where are your compliments? Don't you love people? You don't have nothing nice to say, but I would say also compliment to this audience for putting up with me on a regular basis. Trust me, I'm grateful. You all are an awesome people. And my final compliment to the TDH team. You all waking up every morning when you have other jobs, you have families, you have other things to do, but making the time to do the research and do the work and put together what you do to actually have these conversations. So thank you for being great. The audience don't want to compliment nobody. So we're going to move on to the second one. It's International Day of Education. So since it's International Day of Education, what was your favorite class in school, audience? What was your favorite class in school, Samantha?
I used to always say lunch, but that was a joke. I would say I liked English class and I liked my language learning classes.
Okay.
So Spanish, Italian, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can answer that. My favorite class in school, I didn't like school until I got to college. I honestly, I didn't like school. I've been very honest about that. I never really was a fan of school. I didn't enjoy it. Because they never made it fun for me, right? And I didn't have control to make it fun for myself. So, like, my favorite, like, things in school were doing radio and television courses and writing for TV and writing for radio and creating advertising campaigns and doing some of my entrepreneur and business classes. Those were, I would say, my favorite classes were media related classes. Yeah, but I didn't like that regular math and English and science. And then, when they started adding like letters to math, like that does not belong here.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't never understood that, but that's not my category, so I'll just leave it to the people whose category it is.
Right? You feel me? See, we're aligned. We're aligned. Let's see what the audience says. Shawnette Bell, compliment day. She says, love my support system, friends and family for keeping me grounded these past 3 years. Oh, I love that. I love that. Suzanne Ingham says, TDH makes my daily morning. Love you. I miss you when you are. I think she means not on the air. We love you. We love you too, Suzanne. And thank you for the compliment. Traveling Trotty says, math with Miss Marva Allen at the Barclay Institute. That was her favorite class. Well, we've got someone who likes numbers and letters together. Misha Fabula says, music was his favorite class. Okay. I took you for a science guy, Misha. I took you for a science guy. Nicole Walker says, yeah, Melanin is popping on screen. Jay, love the background too. Looking good in my favorite Carla Simone. All right. You know what? I'm going to accept that. And thank you, family. But you know what I started doing as of January 1st? I'm not going to call her name, but a friend who watches the show often, I started taking care of my face, like using this serum stuff and then putting all the stuff. So I wash my face differently now. So I guess that's making a difference. But I didn't think as a guy I thought I just washed my face when I woke up and went to bed, But now I do serums and do different stuff. So I guess I'm taking care of myself at my old age. But thank you for recognizing. Appreciate you. Aaron Scott says English and cookery. Did you ever do cookery, like home ec?
Well, in boarding school, I did do a little bit of home ec and sewing and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had to do like sewing class and got some needles stuck in my fingers. And it was a shame because my mom was a sewer. Like she sewed for people and made prom dresses. But then in the cooking classes, I love to eat. And so I really never got to take anything home for my family to taste because it was always gone. But I thought I was a pretty good baker. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was a pretty good baker. Nobody else would be able to tell you because they never got to taste it because it was so good. I had to eat it for them. Charles H. Jeffrey, and he says, I love how the people hosting guests on this show have kept me connected to Bermuda before I returned home and since. Why, thank you, Brother Charles. Thank you. And Nika DeShield says, all of them. She loved all of her classes. Well, you know what? We're not going to call you a nerd. That's not nice. We appreciate that we have an educated group of people who tune into this. How's that? Shawnette Bell says, our cookery, loved eating what we... See? She's like me. We ate our stash. We ate our stash. We got PE, English, and photography. Says Nicole Walker. All right, so we're aligned. I mean, I liked PE as a young person, but I didn't like PE as I got older because I didn't want to shower in the shower. Sorry, I won't do that. We've got math. Yeah, Sons Manuela John. Renee Simmons says, my brother Vaughn, as he gets older, he's more like my dad. He's a nuisance, but always caring. That's her compliment for the day. We appreciate that. And Amisha Fablo, we're going to end it with him. He says, I'm the son of a jazz pianist. I liked a variety of classes, but music was definitely my favorite. All right. So you're going to stick around because I've got this daily play. I want you to play.
Oh, okay. Sure.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, our final break. Don't go anywhere. In the meantime, while we take this break, make sure you give us a love, follow, share, like, retweet, repost, whatever you do. But make sure your family, friends, everyone has access to these community conversations. But when we come back, we're going to give a daily play. Simone better get this. Well, we're revoking her United States citizenship. Yeah. And the way Trump's operating, that could happen. Let's just call it what it is. We're going to be back in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Stick with us.
All right, here we go. Looking for the best care for your pets? Nova's Ark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Right. Who was the first woman to become not just the first female opposition leader in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Good job.
Hey, buddy.
Hun, who was the first woman to serve as opposition leader, not just in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Mason, what did you say?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Dame Lois Brown Evans. Where do you find that?
Mommy played Bermuda Trivia.
Mommy played Bermuda Trivia.
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. Good job.
It's true. Children are a reflection of their environment. Bermuda's favorite trivia game, fun with a purpose. To educate, to entertain, to inform, to inspire, to learn, and to enjoy. Bermuda Trivia, all volumes now available at various stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com to learn more and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. We've still got Simone Vaughan here with us. I'm Jamel Hartman. I just want to give a big thank you to all of you for tuning into this Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Again, you can get 2 years of free membership. Just go to mailboxes.bm/the Daily Hour. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a regular basis. Again, if you haven't already, give us a like, a love, follow, share, retweet, repost. Just show us some love. Help us ensure we're beating the algorithms. Now, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Simone and audience, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's a things you should know. Audience, Simone, don't let me down. All right. Who appears on the American $100 bill? It's all about the all about the
yeah.
Benjamin, baby. Everybody got it. Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin is all about the Benjamins. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
I just didn't want to say anything before other people put their responses in.
I tell you what, if you asked me that, I wouldn't have known. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't have thought of the song. I would not have thought of it. I just realized someone asked me something about, is the Queen on Bermuda's Money the other day? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, they're like, oh, I thought the King was on there now. I was like, you know what? You're probably right.
It hasn't all
hasn't changed.
Switched out yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Charles said you're too young for the song All About the Benjamin. Okay.
Hey, music is everywhere. If it's out there, I can see it.
He played you like Maya. Don't worry, he's got the young jokes with Maya too. Yeah, Maya, you got competition. I just want to give a big thank you to Mark Arthur C. Phillips. We just got a notification. He's been a member of our YouTube channel for 27 months. I think the longest serving member of our YouTube channel, folks. You can be a member if you want to financially support us as well. I want to say this. Probably haven't been given permission to say it, but I'm gonna say it and get in trouble after. But April 26th, mark your calendars, folks. April 26th, we have finalized the venue for our 5-year, 1,000 plus episode gala to celebrate the Daily Hour. So we would love to see you all in person on April 26th, 2025, as we celebrate 5 years of the Daily Hour. We'd love to see all of you there. 5 years of the Daily Hour and 1,000 plus episodes. So thank you, Mark Arthur C. Phillips, for financially supporting us. Your Support goes a long way. And you too can become a member of our YouTube channel. Just hit the join option down bottom. And I want to show some love to Kiovane BDA, who is another financial supporting member of our YouTube channel as well. She says, I appreciate the family keeping me updated on what's going on in Bermuda. Not a fan of reading. So no, thank you. We appreciate you as well. And you know what? What are your final thoughts today, Simone, on what you learned? Because I mean, most of the people that they named, can I ask you in public, what year were you born?
It starts with a 2.
So, okay. She don't know nothing about the 90s, folks. All right, she was born in the 2000s. All right, so you were born after Dame Pamela Gordon became the first woman to serve in Premier in Bermuda. You were born after Dame Jennifer Smith became the first woman to win a general election in Bermuda. So yeah, you probably learned a lot this morning.
I learned so much, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to age you. I was just like, man, I wonder.
Oh no, it's okay. You know, I have no problem being young.
Yeah. Some people like Charles wish they were still your age, probably. You know, I'm just saying when you hit 65, like he is. I mean, things happen. All right, I will say this. My final thought for today is I don't think politics should be about being popular. And I do think that politics should be about accountability and having integrity. And I think the love should come from delivering in those two aspects. I think people love who they love because they feel they had those kinds of qualities. Unfortunately, in politics, as stated earlier, you really don't know the measure of a person's impact until probably after they're gone. It's not like football or it's like any sport where the impact is what you do for the team while you're on the team. The way politics works is certain laws enacted or things that you push, we don't see the results for many years after. So that said, to each their own. We're allowed to feel how we feel. It's the same reason we support different politics and politicians and ideologies. Many of us think differently on how things will impact us. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but it is probably the majority probably love versus the majority probably doesn't love. As I stated earlier, we have some people who are big fans of, like, some people named all UBP people. Then you have people who named no UBP people. You have people who named some UBP people. At the end of the day, what's the lasting impact? What's their legacy that they've left behind to improve the lives of the citizens who remain? That's how I look at it. All right. I've got a daily inspiration for you all. And here it is. It's from Jim Rohn. It says, quote, either you run the day or the day runs you. I like that, end quote. Charles says he turns 60 next year, Simone. Yeah. So, yeah, I wasn't really, I mean, we all hope to make it to his age someday. But that said, folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. She's Simone Vaughn. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.